In New Zealand, I'm a builder by trade and actually really enjoy building. But I am concerned because I do believe that in New Zealand we value our freedom. And freedom is vitally important, and we get our freedom because of our democracy. And if you lose democracy, you lose freedom. Because freedom is the right to choose. When the government comes out and says, we're going to eliminate poverty, all I hear is we're going to eliminate choice. Because there's some people that just make stupid choices. And you cannot eliminate poverty without eliminating choice. You can reduce poverty, but you cannot eliminate it without eliminating choice. And choice is what gives us freedom. Our democracy, we get to choose who represents us. Unfortunately, at the moment, I think we have an elected dictatorship. Every 3 years, we get to choose someone to rule over us. And you may question that, but it seems to be the reality. In between elections, we have no real control on the government. And that is a problem to me. Now, does anyone know how many actually elected people, so how many people that were personally elected are actually running our parliament at the moment? With chocolate, yes, how many people got one for free? 29 people out of Leighton, New Zealand First and the Greens, 29 that actually won an electorate seat. All the rest were off the list. So 29 people get to control the direction of New Zealand. You know, if they all listened and did what we as the population wanted, that would be fine. But unfortunately, in my short lifetime, because I'm only really young, that hasn't been the case. And that's really the reason I got involved in politics. And when I got involved, it was over the anti-smacking bill. And whether you agree or not with smacking, the real issue is that the government ignores what people ask them to do. And that's not democratic. And that's why I got involved. I said, this isn't right. We need some way to control the government between elections. And I do believe our binding citizens-initiated referenda is a great policy for doing that. When citizens-initiated referenda was brought in back in the 1990s, and we said at the time, you don't have to make it binding, because no government would be stupid enough to ignore the will of the people. Unfortunately, no government has ever enacted a citizens-initiated referenda, even when there was over 90% support for it. Now, some of you probably think about the flag referenda. That wasn't citizens initiated. That was John Keeble, that through. He didn't have to get 400,000 signatures. He brought it up himself and forced it through. It wasn't a citizens initiated referenda. And what you're a citizens initiated referenda, and some reasons for our policy, is that if you want to get one, well, I probably would have given you the answer, but how many signatures do you need to get to force a citizens initiated referendum in New Zealand at the moment? Roughly, you know, give me a sorry?
100,000?
No. 5? More than 5 signatures.
20,000.
Sorry?
$1 million.
$1 million?
10,000. 20,000.
Closest is about 400,000. You need to get 400,000. You probably need about 330, but you need to get 400 because there'll be double ups and ones they can't read and ones they can't verify. So at the moment, if you want to get a citizens initiated referendum through, you need to get 400,000 signatures. And basically, if you want to do it, you're going to have to take all that time off work and you're going to have to probably get an extension on the 12 months. Because the Greens did a citizens initiated referendum on what? You know? SOSO. Well, you love chocolate. The sale of estate assets, particularly our power companies, they had to get an extension of time to get the amount of signatures. Now, this is an organisation that has New Zealand-wide membership, they've had representatives right up and down the country, they still had to get an extension of time. So our BCI, our policy, we say instead of having to get 10% of the voting population, you simply have to get 5% of the people that voted in the last election. That just makes it achievable, because it's still a huge ask, it's still not going to be easy, but it makes it achievable. The reason you wouldn't do one at the moment is they're not binding. And from everyone that all the people have got working to get, the government have played nil. So why would you bother? In fact, the government gets upset about low voter turnout, you have to say it's because of the way they treat voters. They ignore voters, and why would you bother? And that's why making it binding is so important. And we're saying that once that goes to the vote, 66% have to support it. So it's not a 50-51 or 49-51, and 66% need to support it before it become binding. It is very, very clear. I can't give a chocolate for this one because I don't know the answer. I don't know if any Prime Minister has got 66% of the vote. But every single Prime Minister believes they have the right to govern. Is that correct? Yeah. So it's a very fair. So binding referendum is a core policy of New Conservative because it protects our democracy. It gives you and I the opportunity to hold the government to account between elections, and that's vitally important. Because funny things happen in Parliament. I don't know if you saw this week, but there was an interview on television. We had Chris Hipkins and not Judith Cobbs, but come to me in a second, sorry. Paula Bennett on it. And they were talking about how the euthanasia debate is going to a referendum. Now the interesting thing, and you might have to stick with me a bit here, both of them said they supported the euthanasia bill. Both of them also said they believed it was the role of elected representatives to make that decision because they've heard all the information, they've received all the info. So they believed elected representatives should make the decision. But they supported it going to referendum. Why? Because they believed that if the representatives voted, it wouldn't get passed. So because they weren't going to get what they wanted, i.e. the law passed, they decided to go to referendum because they're hoping that the people will pass it. That's playing with your democracy. That's saying, well, if it's going this way, I'll choose this. If it's going, it's manipulative and it's not right. It is not good, clear law. And we need good, clear law because that's what good law is. It's clear. It's easy to define and it's easy to uphold. That's one of the beefs I actually have with the euthanasia. It is not clear law. At the moment, it is really clear. You cannot help someone take their life. End of story. What we're going to do now is say, unless. Now that unless is a really big, wide, blurred line that will continue to change as it has around the world. At the moment, it will be unless they're terminally ill and they have 3 months to live. But you see in places like Belgium where they're now bringing it down to teenagers and those that do not want to live simply because they're not enjoying life. There's probably all of us at some stage have not enjoyed life. At some stage, all of us have woken up and gone, life sucks. I won't ask their hands. At some stage, we've probably all done that. It's actually our relationships that get us through that. It's relationships that we have with others around us that pull us through and give us that value in life. I've got a wee saying that I'd love to put on a bumper sticker one day, and it's the quality of your life is directly related to the quality of your relationships. Really deep for a builder. But it's probably reasonably true. You know, if you're in a good relationship with people, life is actually okay. You can cope with those storms that come along. The euthanasia debate takes that relationship, and that's my concern about it. And my concern is also, we're bringing in a law that says it's okay to kill in New Zealand when they're inconvenient, but that's what the abortion bill does. It's okay to kill in New Zealand when they're inconvenient, when they're sick, when they're elderly, when they're impaired, when they're infirm, when they're sad. Do you see how many when there's there can be? Good clear law says, no, don't kill kids. Cherish them, look after them, value them, support them. This whole relationship thing is so important for us as a community. It goes all the way through every aspect of our society. If you look at people that find themselves locked up in prison, what's the common denominator? They come from broken families. They come from homes where they didn't feel valued. The vast majority of them. Now, there's no silver bullet for that. I mean, I come from a broken home. My parents split up when I was young. There's probably at least half of you in the same boat here. I didn't end up in prison. I made some good choices, but I had some pretty good support around me. But if that is the causation of people going to prison, what do we put in place as a society to stop crime or reduce crime? Do we legalise everything? Because if everything's legal, there's no crime. Do we don't have to have prisons? Do we reduce sentencing? There's a case this week where some guys on the road, 4 people jump out of the car, beat the snot out of him, drop him on his head, kick him, crack his skull, and they've got home detention. We're getting home detention for manslaughter now. Is that what we do to reduce our prison numbers? Or do we actually look at what is the causation of it? What's causing it and address those issues? You know, broken relationships as a cause, then actually we have to address that. How do we address that? Education. Now, what are the, I'll give you one for free. Here you go. You haven't paid anything to come today, so this is for free. the 3 C's of a good relationship: commitment, common interest, and coffee. Communication. Communication. 4 C's, coffee. Communication is really important for a good relationship, but we don't teach that. Unfortunately, in schools, and Elliot may touch on this later, we're teaching sex as a basis for a relationship. See, sex is a terrible foundation for a relationship. Sex is one part of maybe one of your relationships. I've got relationships with all sorts of people: my suppliers, my subtracts, my clients, my children, my grandchildren. Sex is not a part of any of those relationships. And when you build a relationship based on sex, you've stuffed it up, because most of our relationships aren't based on that. They're based on communication, commitment, common interest. We need to teach those things to children and young people so they understand how to build, develop, and maintain good relationships. That will reduce our prison population. That will help people live their lives. It will not stop crime, by the way, in case you think that good. There is no silver bullet to stopping crime. Crime happens because people have the right to make decisions. The government's role is to protect the population and encourage and enable them to succeed. So, who knows the government institution that is the most effective in reducing crime? You know that answer this if you hear me tell you. The government institution that's best for reducing crime, most effective in reducing crime. Where did you get that? Who's the police? I'm keeping chocolate. Anyone else?
No.
Sorry? No. That's not a government institution, but you. Hey, chocolate. I'm just giving her one because she's my wife, by the way. It's actually school. Exactly right. Education. If you can keep young people involved in education, we keep them out of crime. Okay? It will not stop crime, but it will reduce it. And what is one of the reasons that young people drop out of school? They don't feel they fit in. They're not learning in that environment. So as a party, we really are advocating for trade schools. Young people at year 9 go to a trade school and they learn their math and arithmetic and English or whatever alongside a trade. And it might be hairdressing, it might be cooking, it might be carpentry, it might be electrical, it might be plumbing, drain laying, whatever it is, mechanical. They're using their hands, they're feeling valued, they're involved in the education system that keeps them out of crime. And it's really, really important. We used to do it as a nation. It's really important. I spent 6.5 years as a trade tutor, and we were working with the worst young people in the area I lived in. These are young people that didn't turn up to school and were involved in crime. And when I started, I thought, I'm going to be working with our community's rat bags. And in one degree, I was. But actually, they were just young people that were a bit lost. And they just needed someone to believe in them and give them some opportunities. And that's what we did. With me, we put a building category in waste, and we went and built some really cool things. We built houses and sheds, and things they were really proud of. And we had a 95% success rate because we valued them and said they were important for us as a society. So education is vital if we're going to reduce crime. The next thing we propose is a youth farms, and really that is taking young people out of the situation they're in now. So these are probably, youth farms are probably suited for street kids. Young people that have basically gone right off the rails already, get involved in crime, they're heading down the wrong track, you take them out of that environment for a whole year and you put them in a different environment. You put them in an environment where they're responsible for their food, they're responsible for animals, they're responsible for their own bed, they're out in the middle of nowhere, there's no reason to run away, they get good food, they build healthy relationships, they use new skills, and they're separated from those toxic relationships that were pulling them down. It won't solve all crime, but it will definitely help those young people that get involved. Who's developed that policy? People that work with New Zealand's most at-risk youth. It's not politicians, it's not psychologists, it's people that are currently working with New Zealand's at-risk youth say that will work. After that, we go to the 3-stage sentencing, and I'm not going to go through that with you today because I think you should look that up and have a look at what we're saying there. But all we're saying is make offenders responsible for their outcomes. Give them the opportunity to take on responsibility for their outcomes. We think that's vitally important because that's how society works. I read your week quote from a guy called Leighton. Anyone know who he is? Anyone beat him?
Is there a chocolate?
Anyone beat him? It's in the secret, the people that want to desperate for chocolate. He said this quote, and I like it because it sort of applies. You cannot help the poor by destroying the rich. You cannot strengthen the weak by weakening the strong. You cannot bring about prosperity by discouraging thrift. You cannot further the brotherhood of man by inciting class hatred. You cannot build character and courage by taking away people's initiative and independence. You cannot help people permanently by doing for them what they could or should do for themselves. And I think that sums up conservatism. It's enabling and allowing and encouraging people to succeed, but it's not giving them everything. Because dependency brings about poverty. People that are dependent on someone else to provide it for will be poor, always, and they will never get out of it. The only way you get out of poverty is to be enabled to get out of there yourself. If you look at what aid agencies do when they go into a nation that's struggling, if it's a catastrophe, they'll go in and they'll give things straight away, but they'll very quickly move to enabling, helping them build boats to go fishing again, helping supply funds for them to buy the seed to plant their vegetables again, helping them by supplying funds for them to buy chickens. They've got to pay the loans off. Why? Because they know for those people to survive and succeed and flourish, they need to be enabled to succeed, not given stuff. When we give people, we condemn them to poverty. We've got to stop giving people stuff. Okay? It does not work. As New Conservatives, all our policies have actually just been built by people with frontline experience. So it's not 3 or 4 of us sitting around the table coming up with good ideas. It's actually people that are at the forefront of their industry, whether it's teaching, whether it's in the police, whether it's in corrections, whether it's working with you. It's actually just common sense policies built by people that work in that industry. And that's why I believe they'll work. Because the people that do it every single day see the weaknesses. The people that deal with young people that struggle with suicidal thoughts, struggling in crime, understand what the causation is. The people that are working with the prisons understand what's going on. They're the people that should be developing policy because they know and see for themselves what really works. And part of us as a party, we're really strong on wanting to enable people just to work to their strengths. What does that mean? It sounds flowery. It means allow teachers to teach. Don't make them fill out 100 forms and do job descriptions and say what their game plan is today and how they did it and how they presented it. Actually, just allow them to teach. Because then they'll stay in the job longer. Because most teachers do it because they're passionate about it, they will do a great job. And they will flourish in it if you allow them to work to their strengths. The government telling teachers how to teach is a bit like the government trying to build houses. It just didn't work. Why? Because they're not builders. They shouldn't build houses, they're not builders, they're not teachers, they shouldn't teach. They shouldn't tell teachers how to teach. They should enable and equip them to work to their strengths. And they can go bigger, that should be in areas as well. We should allow areas to choose what things they want in their area. The West Coast, if they want to put in a hydro dam in the West Coast, let them do it. They live there, it's their area, they know what they need for employment, they know what their power needs are. What right have we got in Auckland or Wellington to tell people on the West Coast that they can't build a hydroelectric dam? That is stupid. It's not good governance. Okay? We need to allow people to flourish in their areas because all of us have this deep desire inside for freedom. Freedom to choose, freedom to do who we are, freedom to raise our families. We don't want control, we want freedom, and we want that government around us to provide us that environment to thrive. That's the government's role. That's why democracy is important. That's why it's important that anything we bring to the table, we do it with the backing of the people. And that's why it's so important for all of you to have a say in what New Zealand looks like in the future. I want to actually, if you've got a question about the texter, I want to introduce you to a guy now who I really value, and I think who is a huge asset for New Zealand. And the reason this person's a huge asset for New Zealand is because of their life experience. And their life experience isn't all roses, it's not all chocolate, it's not all sweet and lovely. There's some real hard lessons they've learned, but they're lessons they've learned that I believe can really benefit the rest of society because they've worked in the hard places. They haven't just gone to university and got a degree in teaching from a theoretical background. They're bringing some life experience to us as New Zealanders that we can all benefit from. And so I'd like you to put your hands together for Ikilei out there for Leighton.
Thank you so much for coming out here and being with us today. It is Leighton. awesome. So well done. First and foremost, I know it's a warm day and we've been talking a bit. So first off, if we could just get to Coco, if we could all just stand quickly. Lovely. If you just put your hands up in the air, it can sound like a beer. Oh, yeah, lovely. Anyways. See? Lord, awesome. Right, so Leighton's discussed policies and little bits of what we're about and what we've got on. I thought I might come in and just have a little chat of some of the issues that we see going on overall, and perhaps even why you're sitting where you sit now. When we look at elements of our society and our culture, and we look at the history of the world itself, we can have a look at different pillars that hold up each society, each culture, if it will. Now, when you've got various cultures, you've got different angles to them, but there are always two main types. One type is how in which you gain your morality, and the other type is how in which you think about things. Your reasons, your ideology, your aspects on those parts. When we look at New Zealand has various elements to it, but we are under an umbrella, an international umbrella. The international umbrella that we are under would be referred to as Western culture. Western culture, of course, as we know, has two pillars to it. These pillars are the pillars that have upheld and have tethered the types of laws that we've had for over 100 years. The first pillar is the Judeo-Christian principles and ethics, our objective morality.
You used to go pressing the
So, this is what we've got now. Now we've got a bit of a problem. The problems that we're starting to see in New Zealand are not just in New Zealand. They are being spread throughout the entire culture that we have. US, Australia, New Zealand, most of Europe. And so when we look at these, what we can see is that the tethers are being removed. That now they're starting to break the pillars when they're making policies. This particular government. Right now, I'm so proud, that was one of our team that managed to find out that the Massey program was being brought into our schools, is in our schools as we speak. And we found out that what it really was, which is, of course, the idea that your child is not a boy or a girl, but exists on a sliding scale that they can change any day of the week. And you have to agree with it. That's the breach and the break of reason and logic and scientific. And it's also the break of the faith aspect or our objective morality, which is a male and female asset. This government has allowed, you have allowed because you pay for it. You have funded the program that is now in the schools. In fact, last night, I've been told by one of the students of St. Patrick's that it is now in their school, it is in his school. So I'll be causing a bit of a ruckus on Tuesday around that. But this is what's going on in our schools. You don't know. Under the law, you have no right to be told what the sexual education program is in your school. You've got no right. You have the legal right to ask, but you have no right. They don't have to tell you nothing. Not only that, in our schools, if your child is underage, they can be slipped off and have an abortion and brought back to school, and you have no right to know. And how do I know that? Because to my shame, and I'll deal with that myself for however I do it, I've done that twice. I've taken 2 girls off to the abortion clinic, come back, family doesn't know anything. Nothing. That's what's going on in our schools right now. As parents, there is the removal of the tethering of science, reason, logic, and what we know is objectively true, objectively moral. Objective moral says, parents, you are the most important thing in the whole community. Scientifically speaking from the longitudinal studies of the UK to Leighton and even America, you want the best place to have a young person growing up into a strong, vigorous, moral, positive decision-making person? It's mum and dad at home. It's mum and dad at home. Constantly, every single time. It's a mum and dad home. is you're starting to see that your parental notification, your parental authority, your parental ability to even have a decision on their discipline is being taken from you. It's incremental, and it does. It goes all the way back. It goes even further back than the anti-smacking bill, which said, nah, you've got no right to smack your kid. We, the state, are telling you how you will raise your child. I work for SIFS, I work for a high-level behaviour modification unit. I've also worked in high pastoral areas. I've run the pastoral teams for a couple of schools, one out west and several down the South Auckland. When we get missives, when we get directions from our head officers, as families, you're not regarded very highly. A lot of it is about criteria that the officers seek. A great example, for example, we know in the youth field that if you want to look constantly, when I'm dealing with a young person who's becoming violent and becoming self-harming and damaging their property, whatever, break it home. And almost always, no dad. Like Leighton, I also came up in a broken home. I was raised by some dad. You get started, there is a big difference. And we see this all the time. Yet, the government that we have, when a child is born, they have 4 risk factors. They say that there are 4 risk factors that will say whether that young person is going to be in trouble or not, and when the help will come in. 4 risk factors. None of those 4 have anything to do with family structure. None of them. It's about benefits and education. None of them to talk about family. Is there a mum and dad? Is there a mum? Is there a dad? Doesn't talk about it. If you want to look at our suicide statistics, we do not record the growing up period between 0 and 16. Between 0 and 1,000 days is the most important part of our life. Your trauma and how you react to things are built in. 0 to 16, when you hit 16, your neural pathways solidify. That means that up until that stage, how you react to stuff now, most of it comes from when you were before 16. The first 1,000 days, the first 16 years. We don't record that in our prison numbers. We don't record that in our suicide statistics. We don't record those numbers. We don't look at those. Overseas does, New Zealand does not. What they look at is education, your benefits. They look at how much money you have. They'll follow it that way. So we've got a removal and a breaking down of what is there. Let's look further at our generation coming up and the removal of the tenets of objective morality and reason and logic. I work a lot with schools even now. Has anyone heard of eco-anxiety? Yeah. It's real. It's real. Our children who are in schools are scared. And I'm not saying like, they're a little kids are a bit random. All right, let's go play some video games. Our kids have a deep fear in them. I laughed and I mocked some of the kids I know who went out on the street and they sat down. See the planet, see the planet, hashtags and all that sort of stuff. And I mocked them and said, bro, you're doing that, but then your phone that you're taking your Instagram shots off, copper and cogs and minerals and water and all that sort of stuff. But they actually have a real fear in them. A few days ago, I sat in front of one of my last classes of the year 13s, and I said, don't worry, it'll be okay. You're not going to die in 12 years. The planet's not going to go down. It will be okay. And part of me actually laughed at that, actually a lot of part of me laughed at that. But then I had a close look at their faces. One of them, tears welled up. All of them looked seriously relieved. As in that deep relief of, and I couldn't help, I was heartbroken because I was sitting there thinking, your teachers, your authority, whoever's in charge of you, shouldn't be allowing you to be taking on this fear, this utter dread. That's what it is. It's not fear, it's dread. These kids have dread in them. And it's being fed by something which, run out there, is not actually by settled science. There's so much stuff going on there. And saying that these children, these 67-year-old kids, are going to die in 12 years or the planet's going to go bust is not just bad looking after the kids. That is manipulation at the most insidious level, because they're using those children to affect the rest of us, and so we'll engage in high policy. Greta Thunberg, I'm not angry. I feel deeply sorry for her. Deeply sorry for her. She is a weapon, and she is a very effective weapon. I've seen her type before. I feel sorry for her. They are not coming for your kids. They're already here. And they're already being very effective at taking them. Rape culture is coming up in university. I'm dealing with some kids there who are actually saying that there is a rape culture. It's nonsensical. Again, added fear. Pew Research a couple of years ago. This current generation is having more anxiety disorders than any other culture in the history of records that we can find. They're dealing with stuff, and we are allowing them to go out there with low resilience because they're freaking out. At a Victoria University interview that I had, they called me out. They said, "Oh, hey man, dude, look at these numbers. The homicide report, which says that 1,085 people have been killed in the last 15 years. It's really bad, really bad." And I said, "Cool, right, got it. What number can you take that has far over that of killings in the last 2 years alone?" So we've got about 1,085 people who were murdered in the last 50 years. What number exceeds that in the last 2 years alone?
Suicide.
Yeah, great. Suicide. Over 1,200. We don't kill other people generally, but we do kill ourselves. We are losing the ideas of hope, life. Not only when we've removed, get out of school Bible skills, get out of schools, get out of Parliament, the prayer of Jesus, get rid of, now they're starting to look at reviewing the charities commission so that they can make it so that the churches will start to pay on they lose the charity status. That's the words that I'm getting from a couple of trusted sources. We also got the area where the rates have gone up heavily for Auckland churches. Not on any other type. And it doesn't even matter if you're a Christian or not. What matters is that this is one of the pillars, and it is being removed, kicked out. When that's removed, as that's being removed, that allows nihilism to come into the society. And we've already seen it. In the field, we've seen nihilism. Now, nihilism, of course, is the idea that life is barren. Not just temporarily meaningless, but life is zero. There is nothing in life. It is meaningless. It leads on to fatalism. That's what we're seeing. That's what we're seeing in the new field. And me and some of the homies the other week, we were actually talking about it. That about 10 years ago, we were telling all of our management, and we were telling the government, and we were telling the minister directly, you've got to do something because these things are getting worse, not better. You're telling us, you're giving a statistic and say that things are getting better. Our youth are not getting better. They're becoming a lot more nihilistic. 20 years, 15 years, 10 years ago, I was dealing with a young one who punched up an old person, cried, boo-hoo, maybe they were angry. Over the last 6-7 years, they really can't be bothered even sitting in what we call FGCs. They'll sit there, and FGC is the family group conference. If they commit a crime, then they will go to a family group conference where they'll have the support there and they'll talk about stuff. But on the whole, more and more and more, we're seeing young people really, literally not care about being there, really not care about hurting the people that they've hurt. We are seeing this more and more. Now, this is West Auckland. I suspect you guys probably know this name. Jaden Struben? Does anyone know Jaden Struben? Oh, West Side. Jaden Struben, West Auckland. I've got a couple of other homies who were actually involved in that case. case when he was a young one. Then when he hit 17, he was already involved in violence and burglaries and thefts and robberies. When he hit 17, magically, of course, his record got quite clean, and so no one knew anything. Then, of course, he engaged in war, burglaries, I think a couple robberies, went to prison, came out. Then he went next door to his neighbour, 69-year-old Chinese lady. He'd stopped her record often. That was in West Auckland. I think it was actually. Peninsula. And these things are coming. I don't know how we can say it louder. The youth field have been crying out saying nihilism is bringing these up. We look at the Christchurch Tower, what he did. I've read his manifesto multiple times. Nihilism. That's what I read. I don't read left. I don't actually read left wing or right wing anything. Nihilism. We're not dealing with a young person who has done a lot of damage or something like that. We are entrapped their decision-making processes to a core belief structure, whatever that core belief might be. With him, there are lines of thought, but they're scattered. They're all over the place. There's no real core value there. Even a jihadist, when you look at the profile cases that you find, there's a core value there. Negative one, but it's there. He did not have it. We see nihilism on an unprecedented scale. And while this government is continuously pushing out things like, let's smoke weed, hey, let's kill babies, let's say suicide is a valid cause for it. It does nothing to help the hollowness inside. It does nothing to help the idea of life is precious and good. And there is right and wrong, and we're okay, we love. Our culture is under attack in ways that I've never seen or read about ever. And I would say that the incursions that we have here are incursions by an ideology that should have remained dead 50 years ago. But it's not. And it's here. And it's winning. Even if we look at our democracy, our ideas of Greek democracy, select committees where they decide to have one day in Auckland. The firearms. Sorry, mate, we can only have select committee we can only listen to you for a day or so. The fact that they in the last week, the OIO was not consulted for selling off a whole bunch of area for forestry. And why? Because the government was keen just to plant trees. Now don't worry about that, mate, we'll swim. The Greens said that. Our democracy is under threat, our objective morality is under threat, our children are under threat, the very nature of how we see and view the world is under threat. And I don't see any political party doing anything about it. There is an emptiness there, and I suppose that's also where we come in. Over half the board have dealt with pain at a deep level. And like Leighton said, we are from the front line. We are experts in each one of our fields, not by academic study, maybe a little bit, but because we've been in the trenches. We've scraped off people off the side of the road. We've dealt with pain, and we've been alongside of the pain. We can see it. Our policies are rock solid. We can argue every single one of them, all good to go. And so I guess that's why we're here. And some of the more members, the last thing I'll say is that progressives think that they've got us sussed. They think they've got us on the ropes. The progressives, the leftists, whatever you want to call them, they think they've got us. Because they can whip together a group real fast and then say, trans rights, women, men should have the right to beat up women in the ring, all that sort of stuff. Trans rights, or, socialism, or, no, don't worry, give me all the firearms. No. They come together real fast. Conservatives, however, we always take the longest together to take up a fight. And the reason being that I've noticed and I've observed is this: because we know the value of the future, because we know the value of the fight, and we know how much it's going to take to sacrifice for it, the left come together fast. We come together last. The difference is we go the whole hog. We don't stop. We carry on. And our resilience carries us on through until we've won. However long, however painful it goes. And that's one of the big elements of a Conservative, is that we will suffer. I've devoted my life to it. I really hope I don't die in some way out of it. But if that's the cause, that's the call. If that's the cost, that's the cost. I can give you whole stories about what it's cost already. But that's what conservatism is about. The ability to save our people, to make sure that laws and policies are tethered by reason and logic and by objective morality. God bless you. God bless you, Sarah.
Thanks, Elliot. Before we answer your questions, because once I've answered your question, you might run out the door, so this is my window of opportunity. We are rushed. All our funding comes from our members. Actually, most of it comes from the board itself, really. But it's our members that fund our party. It's our members coming to the party that have actually funded and allowed us to employ Elliot full-time just last week. So Elliot's full-time until the election, in which case you guys will be paying him up for the next 3 years. So that's cool. So we have an opportunity for you guys who feel deprived that you haven't been allowed to join up. We've got an opportunity for you. It's called 20 for 20 in 2020. And what it is we're encouraging people to commit to pay $20 a week up until the election so that we can achieve 20% in 2020. Okay, it's a high goal, but hey, the All Blacks didn't go to Japan to lose, did they? So we're aiming high, and we've actually got a lot of people already signed up. That's one reason we've got Elliot going. But we've got a lot more expenses coming up in the new year. We really do need an office. We really do need a secretary to actually coordinate all that thing full time. At the moment, as a board, we're doing it in our spare time, but all of us are actually working full time as well. So we're allowing everyone to join in and help us as we try and achieve the goal. So if you'd like to do that and you want to sign up afterwards, we can go to our website and there's a wee blue button that says 2020. You can click on that and sign up that way. That would be great. For Elliot,
Sorry.
why are Chinese pensioners in New Zealand subject to Section 70?
I think in 1997, the Chinese government did something about those. There's a government discussion. I don't think it's I could be dodgy thing. But I think it has to do with, in 1997, the Chinese government decided to make the state pay out fee, or amount that they had, that has mucked up something in that area, which means that it can't be touched until 2022.
What was Section 70?
Section 70 is the one where if you are taking an amount, if you've got so many hours here, it can be taken dollar for dollar if you're picking up an amount overseas somewhere here as well.
If you're getting a government pension from overseas, you will get that amount reduced by New Zealand pension. So people who come to New Zealand feel hard done by because they've earned a pension overseas and they come here and they miss out on it. And so we're going to try and do some work around there because it needs a balance as well. If someone's got a pension from overseas, comes to New Zealand and gets a whole pension in New Zealanders feel a bit hard done by that they've worked here 65 years or whatever. So it's finding a balance here that'll work. I might just read through these 20 points quickly because they may answer a whole lot of your questions and I'll quickly go to the questions, right? So these are things that New Conservatives have spoken out on or done something about. UN Resolution 2334, we saw the result, we condemn the resolution for a whole lot of reasons. Euthanasia, we stand against it. Binding referendum, we fully support it.
Binding citizen referendum, we're the only party to come out with that. I hear something like, "Ah, man, New Zealand first, go for it."
The difference between New Zealand first, you can have binding referendum as long as they agree with it. Yeah, it's like being between breakfast and dinner. The UN Migration Pact, we're the ones that exposed that, challenged the government on it, that they were going to sign it. They said at the time, oh no, we're just thinking about it, but they'd already sent someone over to sign it, so that's a bit fake. Abortion, as a party, we oppose abortion for the reasons we've spoken about. Climate change, we oppose ETS and we would like to get out of the Paris Accord, and our reasons are, it doesn't matter what we do as a nation, we're not going to save the world on emissions. And then emissions trading is trading and emissions. It's making a few people really rich and it's not saving the planet. We believe that we need to target pollution. So directly target pollution, and that way we can change the world. But this emissions trading thing is alarm, and people, this thing of forestry being sold to the Japanese is all about the fact that they're subsidised by the New Zealand government to plant trees for this carbon thing. It's just a rule, and it will not save the payment. MP salaries, we believe MP salaries should be linked to the average wage. Get rid of the higher salaries commission, their wages will only go up if the average wage goes up. Portion of seabed, we believe the portion of seabed should be vested. The government should have control of that, and it should be vested in the interest for all New Zealanders. Health trust for all New Zealanders.
Just also with that one as well, nothing that myself and some of us on the board we work alongside is my favourite intellectual is a black dude called Thomas Sowell, and he said the black family has survived centuries of slavery, generations of Jim Crow, but has disintegrated in the wake of the Liberals' expansion of the welfare state. The expansion of the welfare state in New Zealand has been one of the biggest reasons as to why Maori and now Pacifica are starting to become more and more damaged and disempowered. The idea of having benefits and systems, and especially when you treat one race differently than the rest, actually weakens that race. Doesn't give any strength whatsoever. And so the idea is that we wipe everything that's race-based so that every single person will be equal in New Zealand. That's the way we're going.
Number of MPs, so there was a referendum on number of MPs. New Zealand voted to drop it down to 99, it never happened. We believe that if you're a list MP that doesn't form part of the ruling party, then you should go home and just a party leader goes to Parliament. That way the amount of votes is still there, but we're not paying for people who are list MPs in opposition. It's not actually voted for. We support charter schools. We advocate for free-state sentencing. We would like to see the introduction of trade schools, which was spoken about. Gender identity, we believe there's two genders, male and female. Sex education in schools, we'd like it to be focused on relationship education, because we think that's vitally important. Solar alarms, we would like to see it. The trouble what we do with solar alarms at the moment, we equip and enable predators to abuse those solar alarms and their children. So we would want to change that and put those solar alarms in a safe environment, where there might be 15 of them, and there might be some overseers, keep the predators out of it, give those solar alarms a chance to get their education sorted out, get them to teach them good mothering skills, and actually look after and support those children. 1080 is a real controversial topic. 1080 is a poison that we use in New Zealand to control the rodents and the predators in our bush. Without it, we see a drastic reduction in bird life. Unfortunately, it's a toxin that never goes away. It just dilutes, goes through the waterways, travels out to sea, and it's an indiscriminate killer. We would like to see trapping replace 1080. And when we talk about pollution solutions, we believe one of them should be financing trapping, and do it bit by bit to see if it actually works. But trappers have told us that they can make that work. We'd like to see the reduction and the removal of 1080 out of New Zealand replaced by trapping. That provides work, we can use the skills, we can use the make. It seems to make sense. We don't know if it will work, okay? We haven't done it everywhere, but we've seen enough evidence to suggest it's worth a crack. Energy, we allow exploration of oil reserves. We spoke about earlier, every single tourist company in New Zealand does it burning fossil fuels. Norway is one of the richest nations in the world that's allowed to invest in fuel, keeping the fuel out. We don't, we buy it from offshore. We're still using it. We haven't stopped using coal, we just buy it from China. So it's a NIMBY attitude we have. And it's a poverty thing that'll happen to us, because instead of having the work here, we're buying it offshore. And tourist tax, which I think has been introduced, but we fully support a tourist tax so that tourists actually pay. Every tourist country pays a fortune. It's not cheap to come to New Zealand. What's an extra $50? And that way we can have some decent toilets and that spread around the nation. So it may have given you a bit of insight. Anyway, do you believe in climate change? We believe man affects the climate, man does not control the climate. And all the money that we're putting in at the moment will not solve the climate's issues. We're spending $1.4 billion per annum in New Zealand on carbon credits that will not actually solve anything. Even if we go carbon zero, if New Zealand went carbon zero, because we're 0.02% of the world's countries, it will not affect the world, particularly as China and India are going nuts. Okay? So if we're going to make a difference, we need to use what we've got, which is creativity, ingenuity. We target specific pollution areas, and that way we can reduce it and we export those solutions worldwide. That's how we can make a difference in the world. Would you consider removing the statute of limitations of 10 years for New Zealand residents not people who have obtained citizenship, so they can be deported if they commit a serious crime. Currently, people who have committed sex offences can't be deported because they have been a resident longer than 10 years. Sorry for the long question. I've been interested in looking at that. I don't know enough about that, to be honest with you.
I'm generally good with it, but that's something we have to discuss before.
We haven't developed a policy on it. I think if you bring your attention to that boss, we'll look at it. What opportunities would you plan for solo parents when they need to be concerned about cuts to the benefits? Say a mum with 6 kids doing well with current income but trying to set up their own business. Again, I come down to this thing. The government's role is protect, enable and encourage. And so if there's a solo mum with 6 kids, it's enabling her to succeed, but it's not enabling her to just take advantage of her. And we don't want to see people getting pregnant and having children simply for the sake that the government's going to give them a lot of money and they can live the lifestyle they want. That's not right. So that's why we believe in setting up homes where the solo mum will be protected, looked after, she can get education, but we're removing the ability for predators to take them out. And also, it's not a free lunch. There's some obligations required of them.
So in regards to that, also just put in there, there's another thing, because most of my clientele are mum. If you want to have a look at the statistics starting to go down from the late 70s. In the 70s, if you were born in your mum, you had about an 80% chance of being born to a married mother at home. As of right now, it's 20%. So it's 20% right now. And we know that if you're being raised up in a married mother at home, best ever. Right? That's obviously is a generalisation. So that's where we've come from. We used to have strong families all throughout colonisation, whatever that is, all throughout the wars and the various issues and the valid treaty breaches. The families were still strong. The families didn't break hardcore until the 70s. That's also where you see the start of the expansion of the welfare state. The well-meaning but damaging DPB in 74. And then you start to track the various expansions that occurred after that. That's why now we've got real struggles. I mean, and again, I myself am an indicator of that. Mum and Dad never got married, they broke up when they were 5, they stayed with Dad and loved them, but there were some issues there as well. But that we need to repair families. If you really want to be cause for the Conservatives fixing families, it's a massive.
I agree with democracy, people choosing, but what do we do now? The general population is socially brainwashed. The media bias definitely reached New Zealand too. People got like sheep and they hear a slogan, etc. Logic and truth are gone. I actually believe in New Zealand and believe in New Zealanders, and I think if we can educate people, they'll make right decisions. But the problem you've got is when you say, I don't give people choice because they'll make the wrong one, you become a dictator. And who's to say you're right? You'll say you're right. Every single dictator believes they're right. Hitler believed he's right. Stalin believed he's right. Every dictator believes you're right. If we want a democracy, it has to be a true democracy where the people get to choose. If they step up and choose wrong, the consequences on them. You need to educate the people around you if you're concerned about it. But if we haven't got a democracy, we've got a dictatorship, and which dictator are you going to choose? That's the problem.
I'll put it there. One of the cool things, this in itself is a great example that we shouldn't lose too much hope. I mean, look, it's Labor Day, it's the first sunny day without the Wellington wind flowing through everything. And you guys are here, you're here. That in itself is cause for great hope. We've got 19 meetings coming up next month. We don't set them up. Other people set them up. We come along and we drink coffee. That's what we do. And the fact that there are multiple meetings, the fact that they're starting to just fill up. We've gone to meetings where there've had to be people on the side. We've gone to meetings where we've had to be a bit naughty because we were over the maximum occupancy. And it's not us, we just come and talk. It's the lifting of the people out there who are talking more and more. So there is definitely hope. And that's even us being here, there's hope. And that's why I do say to those kids, don't worry. You'll be okay. In 12 years' time, you'll be thinking about something else. And so that's what we're here for, is to let you know, don't worry, there's hope. We're here, but we're all here together. That's how we roll.
And citizens initiated referenda is a great encouragement because every single one of those 8 referenda that have gone to the public have been widely supported by over generally over 8%, but definitely over 68% of people. So the New Zealand public are actually pretty smart, they're compassionate, they're smart, they should be able to choose. If they choose different to you, they're not necessarily wrong, maybe you're wrong, maybe I'm wrong, but the choice is still with the people, that's healthy democracy. And last question here is, what is the scientific basis for NC policy? Well, that's a wee bit of a wide question because there's a whole lot of policy, and I've read out about 19 to you. But if you want to look at the Geneva longitudinal study, the one thing you'll find, the core thing they found from that, the biggest study ever taken of family of people in New Zealand said the same thing. Self-control is a determining factor of people succeeding or not. What about policies? It's about self-control. It's about people taking responsibility for their actions. Our policy is based in reality, it's based on what people see, and it is based on science. There is no scientific evidence that there's any gender apart from male and female, none whatsoever. So, they are based on science, they're based on reality, and they're based on experience. And if you've got complaints about them, please come through to us. We're only human beings, we stuff up, we make mistakes, let us know. We want to hear from you. It's time for tea and coffee, have a chat. Do appreciate you sitting here on a warm day. Please, if you want to help us for 2020, we'd love that. The other part of the 20 for 20 in 2020 is actually you encouraging 20 other people to get involved.
Sorry, can I just say something? I know New Zealand first talking about a referendum on the abortion issue. And actually, I did write you a letter during the week, but a lot of people just do not realise how much more liberal your abortion laws can be than all the Australian states. Because after the 20 weeks, in Australia it's 22, 23, 24 in some cases, there are two doctors who are going to decide in the matter of abortion.
Oh, it'll be the most extreme, reform in our Western civilization.
Yeah, but that's up to us as a community to educate people, because at the end of the day, I think we need to come back to the first question. There's always got to be, when is it okay to take a New Zealand life? And you've got to come to the question, when does life start? And we need to ask those are questions when you get asking people, when does life start and when is it okay to take a life? Those are questions, but it is about education, it's about talking to people, and look, we are going to wrap up there.
Yeah, just because one of the advantages of BCI or referenda is that yes, the debate in the public arena, education can happen. If it's decided in Parliament, we don't, but there it is, referenda debate can happen. Oh, we can get involved.
Yes, sorry, just to follow up. In terms of New Zealand government, our structure, there is no check or balance. There's one check or balance, which is Commonwealth left, that just will never be used. But beyond that, there is no check or balance. Like this government can literally make laws that they decide. And unlike, for example, the US, for example, they have checks and balances. We don't have those. A BCIR is the way in which we can return democracy back to the people. That's why it's such a powerful thing.
At the end of the day, we would hope we never have to use it. Because if it was binding, surely the government would listen and we did not pass that, all the people don't want it. Yeah, surely, but no guarantees.
Would you be in favour of a referendum on the abortion issue?
I'm in favour of referendum, but we have to have the education process, because as soon as we say, you can't have a referendum on that, I'm becoming a dictator. People have got to be allowed to choose. Either they can choose or they can't. But as soon as I say you can't choose this, I'm criticising other people for, which is a dictator. We will wrap it up there. Tea and coffee's ready. Come and have a chat to us, because we would like to talk to you.